Hi, this is Janie from Janie's Journals. I wanted to get on today. It's Saturday afternoon, and I worked this morning for a few hours, and I just felt like doing something, but I didn't want to get into anything big. So I have a project that's been kind of hanging out on my desk for maybe 2 weeks that I started and then just kind of stalled out on, and I wanted to see what I could do to finish that today. So this is what it is, and it's like a big tag that I had made into a little flip out thing here. I loved him, and I wanted him to stay on here just like he is. So what I've done so far is I made this vellum window, and it has this tag in it, but even the tag needs to be finished. It's definitely not what I want it to be. I do like this though. I like this look. And then my thoughts were, I started making this tag for the inside because I thought it would look kind of neat the way that this tab sticks out the side of it here. But when I went to put it together, I had to put a backing on the pocket. So I had to take the pocket off, and I added this piece to it and a little gusset so that it's gonna be able to handle something a little bit thicker in there now. So I've got that going, and so far I'm happy with that. I did use some, it's the, gosh, what's that called? Let me get it. Modeling paste. It's the Master's Touch. I got it at Hobby Lobby. So I do have that, and I used a brick stencil and put that to start a background. And I had thought what I wanted to do on this tag was have a couple of people on here. And I first was trying this lady and this little girl. I thought they were adorable, and I thought, well, you know, maybe I could have her sitting on something and the little girl standing beside her. And then I found these guys, and I like the looks of them too. I'm still working it out. I know that I'm going to do a wood floor under their feet, and I've got to figure out something for them to sit on. And I just did these luggage from that new Tim Holtz baggage claim die that I got. So I was thinking maybe I could have them sitting on a suitcase, and I like that okay, but now I'm kind of thinking maybe I want a bench. Maybe I want to make a bench. So anyway, that's where I'm at, just kind of on the fence with all of it. I do know I want to put a wood floor under their feet. And I do know that I want to color these bricks and make them look a little shabby. And then I also wanted to have either a clock or a picture or something hanging on the wall behind them. I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to start working on that, and we'll see what happens. So in order to do this, I'm thinking that I'm going to turn this into wood planking. And I have a video that I will link when I made this paper. It's made with a embossing folder, a wood embossing folder, and then I painted over it, and I sanded it, and then I painted some more. So I'll link that video at the bottom if you're interested in how I did that. And like I said, I'm gonna start in, and we'll see where it leads us to. That's usually all of the projects that I do. Most of the time I just have to start. You know, I might not have a clear idea of where I am going to end up, but I just have to start. Okay, so I'm now gonna take these. Let's see. That's a small piece already. I am going to cut these into smaller pieces. Let's see if that's enough. Gotta put my glasses on. Okay, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna put it on this little piece of card. Okay, and I think I'm going to use this, the multi-medium mat. I found this, and I think that looks kind of wallpaper-like. Let's just tear some of this. And put that there. Okay, and this is dry enough. Let's see. Why is that not wide enough? It should work. Stay in there. Okay. That should be good enough. Okay. There's this little tiny piece right here that is not covered, and it's bugging me because you can really tell. I think I'm going to use a black Sharpie. And I'm going to color that in. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, much better. Okay. And now I need to make something for them to be sitting on. And I kind of like the idea of a suitcase. And that actually is a good size, but you can't really tell what it is once you sit them down on there. I mean, I don't think that you can. See? So I'm thinking, instead of using a suitcase, why don't I just put them on some kind of box or bench? Okay, so I have this, and you all are going to think I've totally lost my mind, but we have an old basement. I mean, this house was built in like the 40s, and the paneling that they had down there was some of that, it had a real thin layer on top, veneer, I guess is what they call it. And when we were replacing it, I kept some of the veneer and I put it on just, this is just a piece of, you know, brown paper. And then I covered it with, I can't remember if it was Mod Podge, I think it was. I covered it with Mod Podge. So I have these really thin pieces of wood veneer that I can use. And I was thinking of maybe making a bench out of this and then sitting them, whoops, sitting them on the bench, something like that. I like that better. I like it better than I do a suitcase. So how do I do that? I just do it. I've got these little tiny brads. So I'm wondering if I couldn't punch through here and here and just put a little brad in there to make it look like some kind of hardware on the bench. And there's no reason for me not to. I kept the veneer so that I could mess with it and see what I could do. So let's do something. Okay, you know, I think that's what we needed. Okay, can you see that? I know that glare from that light, but I think that those brads make a difference. I might have to move him a little bit so that his coat's not covering it. But I think that makes that look more like a bench or something. You know, I could also make a back for the bench. No, I'm not going to. They do seem to be kind of far down on there. I wonder if I shouldn't go ahead and continue the flooring up here. I'm going to try to make a clock to go on this back wall. And I don't have any stamps or anything. The smallest clock stamp I have is this one, and it's huge. It's way too big. But what I did find is a compass stamp. And I thought, you know, I tried it out, and it looks similar to a clock. So I think if I use that, and I maybe put some small clock hands on it, some metal clock hands, and then frame it, I think it'll work. So that's what I'm gonna work on now. I have already cut a piece of chipboard, and the way I did this, I used my big hole punch, and I punched my bigger circle, and then I went in with the smaller hole punch, and I punched out the center piece. So my stamped compass is gonna sit on there like that. Okay, so I've got that piece, if that's what I choose to do. I also found this silver, so I'm going to go ahead and try that too. Just because it's got some texture to it, where the black is a flat. So I can either do this black one, or I can do this silverish one. And I'm really leaning towards the silver one. Yeah, I think I like it more. I think it's going to add a little more texture to it. You know what? I'm kind of thinking about doing some glossy accents instead, and filling this up with it. Well, I'm going to try it. Because this is just going to be hard to get stuck on there. We're just going to do this. Whoops, I'm sorry. Well, of course it's clogged up. There we go. I better put the pin in this or it's going to clog up. All right. the bottom to spread it out even. And that's filled with glossy accents. Now I'm going to have to let this dry for quite a while. So we'll move on to something else until then. Here is what came of my clock. So and I used the StazOn ink, but whenever I added this the glossy accents, it did make that ink kind of run, and it caused, I don't know if you can see that or not, it caused the metal to turn kind of green, so it gave it a real patina, and I kind of like that. So I'm okay with it being like this. So that clock is going to go up there. I've got everything worked out, except now I'm going to have to paint my bricks. And I'm glad that all this is a piece of, what is this, file folder. So if I need to recreate it, I can do that fairly easily, because I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, painting on this. We'll see. All right. There's what I've got now. And it looks very rustic. I'm wondering what it would look like with my men on there. Let's see. That's gonna go up there. It's a little bit warped now. And then my clock. You know what? I think that looks fine. I think it does. One thing I do want to do is maybe go across it a time or two with my sanding block. Just to kind of give it a little more texture. I don't mind that at all. And get a little more of this brown out here. Because on the edges, some of the color of the paper is coming through. So I'm just going to kind of go over that. Okay. It is raining like crazy at my house right now. Just started. Which kind of stinks because I've got to run out and feed my baby goats. Because my husband is not going to be home until later. Okay. So I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to do on my bricks. Take this off. Whoops. That's peeling that up, that paper up. But that's okay, because it's going to be behind my guys. Okay, I've got that little bit there of brick that should have been colored in but wasn't. So we're just going to do this. Okay. I'm happy with that. I'm thinking I may add a piece of cloth behind this tab. And I'm going to put all of this stuff together now because I'm completely happy with how it is. I was kind of toying with the idea of coloring them in, but I've never done that before. And I don't know. I wonder if you could use these watercolor crayons to do that. This one is kind of a skin tone. Let's do one of his hands just to see. Can you see the difference? I just did his two hands. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. I'm not going to mess with that. Oh, but I should. This is, if I'm ever going to try something, this is when I should do it. Okay. All right. I cannot be afraid to mess up because I will never get better at anything. So I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to give him this blue color of a shirt. Oh, you know what I've got that might work even better? Let me take that back off of there. I've got some watercolor pencils. Ooh. I've also got woodies. Hadn't even thought about that. Woodies it is. Because I think this one is flesh colored. It's the Stabilo. Okay, let's see what happens here if I do this. The only thing is, if I put a watercolor on it, I'm wondering if I need to somehow set that so that it doesn't, you know, rub off. I don't know how you would set it. Okay, so that does give them a little more color. Let's do this older gentleman's shirt in this blue pencil. Oh yeah, well that works. And I'll color his pocket hanky in blue. Yeah, look at this. Can you see the blue in his shirt? Probably need a little bit underneath there. There I've got blue in his shirt and I've got it in his hanky here. Let's give the other gentleman, let's give him a green shirt. I don't even know if this color green was a thing back then, but it is today. And if I just kind of rub it with my hands, then it blends it in. That green really is hard to see. Let me see if I turn this light off, if that helps a little. Maybe. How's that? You can kind of see the green there. Okay. Then let's give his, let's see, what else have I got? What else have I got? Not a lot. You know, I'm going to say that's good enough for now. That's good enough for now. I tried it. It works. I'll know next time I can go a little farther. Okay. So I'm going to put all of this stuff on. And I'm going to use some fabric tack for it just because I know that it'll definitely hold it down. Okay. There's my floor. Can you see that? Probably need to maybe turn this back on. Maybe. Okay, so there's the floor. And then the bench I'm going to put up there. I'm wondering if I don't want to use my hot glue gun. I think I'm going to. I'm gonna shut this off a second and let my hot glue gun warm up, and then I'll turn it back on.